Okay, so I read The Journey of the Magi, which a magi is a leader of a clan or group out in Saudi Arabia, and these magi traveled to Bethlehem to see the birth of baby Jesus and bring him the 3 gifts that he received on his birth. The story starts off as their journey to Bethlehem. T.S. Eliot wrote, a cold coming we had of it, just the worst time of year for a journey and such a long journey. The ways deep and the weather sharp. So they're talking about how, Jesus was born in the winter, and they're talking about how it's just a bad time to travel there, and how they wish they could be back in their summertime lives where they got to hang out in palaces and had sherbet brought to them and had all these great nights. But here they're going to see Jesus and become a part of this big thing that is part of our Bible, which is part of the modernism era. They take old stories and kind of reamp them and change them around, which is what T.S. Eliot did with The Journey of the Magi. And this came from Stephen Matterson. He wrote that their literature has powerful connections between a broad range of past literature, which the Bible is one of the oldest works of literature around, and he took the story of the 3 kings and reworked it into a kind of everyday man story too as well, because they talk about how the Magi witnessed birth or death. There was a birth, certainly. We had evidence and no doubt. I'd seen birth and death, but had thought they were different. This birth was hard and bitter agony for us, like death, our death. We returned to our palaces, these kingdoms, but no longer at ease here in the old disposition. With an alien people clutching their gods, should I be glad of another death? I feel like this relates to the everyday man because the kings of these cities are realizing that they are not the most important person in the world. They're humbled now by meeting baby Jesus, who is the almighty king in reality. And so they're humbled by this, which makes them part of the everyday man thing, where everyone's equal on a certain level, except for Jesus is above all, which is another part of the everyday man circle of self. And that's really awesome, and I think T.S. Eliot does a great job of presenting the everyday man with that. He also talks about he gets to the point more where in romanticism it's more detail oriented, and here he's telling the story and he's not beating around the bush or making it any more glamorous than it really is, which is something that modernism also is a big part of, is just get right to it. Don't flirt around with words and make it sound pretty. Tell it like it is. And that's really awesome. And The Journey of the Magi was a really, really great poem, and I really enjoyed it. And it is very modern writing. So yeah, that's our video.